Presenting Benny Goodman and his music.
Hey, Miles. All right, here we are, everybody. And we're back. Sorry, I had the wrong stream running there. That's a no good. That's a great way to start. Hey, everybody. Filling dead air is hard. But welcome along. Here we are. I could use a drink.
Benny Goodman, ladies and gentlemen, the man with the torrid clarinet and the even more torrid band who purveys assorted rhythms, all danceable, in the urban room of the Congress Hotel in Chicago. And first of all, one of Irving Berlin's greatest hits.
I'm just going to
Blue
have
Sky.
some SoCo tonight. Everybody, welcome along. Hey, Heather, Kathleen. Hey, Timothy, Cindy. Hey, Luann, hey, Marie. Hey, Christy. Luca is parking. Ah. Hey, Monica. I will just be having... I haven't decided what to drink tonight. This is a pub crawl. I should make something interesting. What do I got here? This kind of occurred to me, I don't have sugar here. So, simple syrup is kind of out of it. Hold on, I'm still coming up with what I am drinking tonight. Coke for Wolfie. Hey, Floricita. Hey, Karen. Hey, Sue. All that I've actually got the ingredients for is a Manhattan. So we're having Manhattans tonight.
Presents Helen Ward singing With All My Heart.
All right, just a Manhattan for me tonight. Hey, everybody. Everyone's already dead? Okay, yeah, well, Yeah, they don't. Cemeteries do not like people teaching their kids to drive in cemeteries. A lot of people do, but cemeteries don't like it. Hey, Lee. Hey, Bala. Cheers, Monica. All right. I've been gradually building up a bar cabinet here, but I don't have a lot of mixers. I do have a cat. Miles, say hello. Say hi to the nice people, Miles. They're all here to see you. Dozens of them. That's where a lot of people teach their kids to drive. From many technical standpoints, they're excellent. But cemeteries tend not to like it. Welcome along, everybody. The high school parking lot. If you crash into the school, I can see the upside of that, too. Elaine, that's crazy. Crazy talk. I am very much enjoying the cooler weather. Poisonally. Hey, Didi. You gotta get up at 4 a.m. tomorrow, too? Or are you buying tickets to Bob Dylan in Coventry? Here's me. Take a look at this guy. His head hanging over the ledge here. Hey, Tracy. And Audrey. And Miles. Look at this guy.
Benny Goodman goes away
Hey,
back
Chip.
and gets a lot of rhythm out of Walk, Jenny Walk. Benny Goodman and his orchestra.
Hey, Karen. Welcome along, everybody. Ooh, Susan, that's rough. I'm on my second course of antibiotics. I've had 2 root canals in the last month. Both times they gave me the same course of antibiotics, but it was an awesome one, so I'm very excited to be on it again. It, like, knocked out everything in me. Hey, Janet. Hey, happy to do that. I almost had to drive a golf cart at Graceland last week. Last week we did a tour that was all on golf carts. Oh, hey, Laura Betts Harmon. Good to have you out there. Nice, you hopping down? Get the gin out of your way. Evening, Steve. Welcome, everybody. We're doing a pub crawl, some pub crawl stops that have later shown up on other tours, and some that I don't think we've been back to since we first ran, like the second time travel pub crawl more than 5 years ago. Hey, Chris. We'll have some music. I'm gonna play some music, I think. I got a song in my head that I want to do. One of my old tunes. A couple of them, maybe. We'll see how things are going. It has been a week. Right, yeah, for some reason, very few people really watch this one on YouTube. The chat is invariably over on Facebook. And I see chats from everybody on my thing. Greetings, Lynn.
They all loved those bastards when they played by Benny Goodman. And now another one just in the same vein, Rosetta.
Hey, Keely also giving driving lessons to a teen, just like my sister is right now. My sister and nephew. Just that time of year or what? We're gonna let Benny Goodman finish up this tune. Then we will start in properly on tonight's adventure. Patreons, please do come on the Graceland tour on Sunday. If you're on the ticket tier on the Patreon, you get basically season pass tickets. It's one of your better deals going out there. And so far, it's a pretty slow weekend for that one, but we'll see. Hey, Megan. Hey, Doreen. I remember my driving instructor would always say things like, "Now, what we're doing here is we're killing people." We're letting Benny Goodman finish up this tune, then we'll get started properly. It just called for storms. Oh, super. Hey, Eileen. Well, I gotta keep my income flowing. It's a slow season. Of course, I got a school group coming up. I'll be gone for most of a week with a school group up in Boston. Maybe I'll be able to show you like the Harvard campus or something. I'm gonna see some of that. I've certainly never seen that. That stood not in my line. All right, Benny Goodman finishing up over here. You know what that means. It is time for the theme song.
Climb aboard, cause you don't know exactly where or when we'll go. Chicago 1893, or the Gilded Age in NYC. Blast off into outer space, drink till you're flat on your face. From the comfort of your home. So if you puke alone, one day we'll even find that place in France. And don't come crying to us if you pee your pants. Time travel pub crawl, time travel pub crawl, time travel pub crawl, yeah!
All right, I really feel we should be ending that with like that guy from the Cheers theme. With his glass. Created by. But all right, welcome along, everybody. I'm Adam Seltzer for Mysterious Chicago Tour. I've been a tour guide and historian here in Chicago for really quite a long time now. Author of such books as Mysterious Chicago, the book, H.H. Holmes, The True History of the White City Devil, I Kissed a Zombie and I Liked It, which was optioned by the Disney Channel but never quite became a movie. Smart Aleck's Guide to American History, and oh heck, where are the rest of these? Pretty sure I put some more of these up in here. Since we are, after all, moving along to entirely new things, entirely new books coming out. There's a book about Johann Hawk that I've got coming out in September called Chicago's Serial Husband. One about Graceland Cemetery that came out a couple of years ago called Graceland Cemetery, Chicago Stories, Symbols, and Secrets. Volume 2 is in the works. I spent a lot of time today working on the story of the Gold Dust murder. Dora Abel, known as Little Gold Dust, is buried over kind of by eternal silence in an unmarked grave. But all right, enough about me. We are here for a time travel pub crawl today. Now, there's a couple of different stories about where we came to how we go flying around on this. So for one thing, back in 1915, a diver was laying a trench in the riverbeds of the Chicago River to lay some cables down. Came across the wreck of what appeared to be a 40-foot-long homemade submarine. They named it the Fool Killer and put it on display on South State Street. Then it disappears off of the record. We found that inside the tomb of Ira Couch, turns out that it's actually not just a time machine, it also goes through time and space. This is early enough I hadn't figured out PNG files. But we're not going to take the Fool Killer tonight. Also, around the turn of the 20th century, there were reports all over the media that an airship was being sighted. This was published in one of the Chicago papers. It is one of the very first examples of a UFO photograph. Nobody ever figured out what this airship was, whether it was just mass hysteria or what, but we found the airship. It travels through time, but it kind of sucks at the going through space part. So we are going to be sticking today to bars from Chicago history. A lot of these we used on our very second Chicago tour, as a matter of fact. So what we're going to do is we are going to be going virtually through time, a limited version of space, to check out some Chicago landmarks, some really cool bars from Chicago history. I wanted to do this one again because I got some great new footage of a place that we're going to later on in here. Well, first of all, we're going to stop and talk about one. Hey, we that's a little too early yet. Had a couple of extra buttons pushed here. We're going to start out here on Madison Street. You might know this place from the Dark History on Madison Street tour. It also comes up occasionally on the Grave Robbing 101 tour. Now, when I first was trying to figure out the exact location of this, I was hoping it was going to be this place across the street. But this stretch of Madison was once the home of what is currently, this is the old Phil's Tavern. This looks like what I was picturing when I pictured a place called The Hub. This place called The Hub probably looked about like this. This is not an exact picture of it, but this is what Madison Street would have looked like at the time. The inside probably looked about like this. This was a low-down place full of gangs of toughs, back when even gangs of toughs dressed really pretty well and always had mustaches, including the proprietor, a guy by the name of Jack Mullins. And I love that there's actually a photograph of this guy. But there is one because this bar on Madison near Racine was known as The Hub and kind of a popular place both for counterfeiters. Mainly it was known as a counterfeiter bar. But grave robbers hung out there as well, including the grave robbers who plotted to steal the body of Abraham Lincoln in 1876. One of the counterfeiters who hung out in the place had gone to jail. Some other buddies were thinking, we got to find a way to get this guy out of here. Then one of the other guy came and said, hey, you want some money? I'm the boss of all grave robbers in this town, and I got a plan. Why don't we go to Springfield, steal old man Lincoln's body, hold him for ransom, then we'll get all kinds of money and get your buddy out of jail. Well, Mr. Mullins, let's talk to a clean-shaven version of Mr. Mullins here.
Hey, no time travelers. We don't serve your kind in here.
Hold on, we have money.
Oh, it's you. Yeah, come on in. Try not to let the rats follow you this time.
Geez, you forget you have cheese in your pocket one time.
You got any weapons on you? Guns, knives, bats, whips, chains, pipes, that sort of thing? Check them at the door. I don't need any more messes than I already got. And no cops.
Well, what do you take me for?
A filthy, no-good grave robber.
Fair enough.
Well, you'll fit right in here. Grave robbers, pirates, thieves, counterfeiters. I serve them all. Gets a little wild sometimes, sure, but their money's as good as anybody else's. You know that crew that tried to steal Abe Lincoln's body? Plotted the whole thing from the table in the back corner over there.
Nice.
Not that I know anything about that.
Of course.
What'll you have?
Do you have anything special?
Well, we had a special, a shot of Malort and a shot of embalming fluid. If you can tell the difference, I'll give you half off.
That's the new old kind of Chicago handshake.
Tell you what, I'll just throw you a graveyard grog. A couple ounces of dark rum, half a jigger each of lime juice and simple syrup, a couple shakes of Angostura bitters, and top it off with some hot water. Oh, well, someone had a big week at the
Yeah, I want a
cemetery.
ginger beer instead.
You want to use ginger beer? I ain't gonna stop you, your majesty. Now take your grog and sit down. I don't want to see your face again unless you're buying something.
Probably about what Mr. Mullins was like. All right, enjoy your graveyard grog, everybody. So this is the Hub on Madison, popular bar for counterfeiters and grave robbers. I imagine after a night of grave robbing, you definitely need a drink, unless you're going to drink coffin liquor, the kind of gunk that pools inside of the coffin. But just remember the rhyme. If it's kind of dark and brown, buddy, do not drink it down. If it's kind of pale and red, do not put it in your head. If it's pale and periwinkle, don't convert it into tinkle. You know how it goes. Of course, if you need a rhyme to tell you not to drink stuff out of a coffin, you probably didn't survive far enough to dig one up anyway. But this is the map of the tomb of Abraham Lincoln down in Springfield. Back in 1876, the coffin was up above ground just inside of a white marble sarcophagus. So these guys plotted to steal the body. All they were going to have to do was get the coffin out of there. They made the plans, they formed a posse, as you do, went all the way down to Springfield, got as far as getting the coffin halfway out of the place, when one of the guys who was a double agent blew his whistle and sent the feds running in. So after this, the Lincoln Guard was formed to guard the body. The body was moved to several different places around the area until Robert Todd had him buried under about 10 feet of cement and steel, as he may have also done with George Pullman here at Graceland Cemetery. Here we have a shot of them going digging it into its final location. When they were about to move it in 1901, there was a kind of a thing. A lot of guys got together when they were moving it saying, so we got the coffin out. Don't you think we ought to open it? There's all these stories that he's not really in there. And we could spend our whole rest of our lives making a career out of being the last to see the face of Abraham Lincoln. So, officially to quell the rumors, but more likely to build themselves careers, they took a look inside of the coffin and found that after 36 years he was still in pretty good shape. Here they are moving it. Now, one kid, Fleetwood Lindley, got a message from his father saying, come to the cemetery right now. And living until the 1960s, he made kind of a career out of being the last person to see the face of Abraham Lincoln. He said that any schoolboy would have recognized the face, and he kind of lived with him in his head for a month after seeing that. He is actually buried very close to the spot right now. A lot of the Lincoln lore people ended up getting clustered around this area. Now, there was some talk of having the body exhumed and put on display, as his body was re-embalmed so many times that it's probably still in pretty good shape. And I imagine some people who worked there were just dying to actually see the thing after all this time. But that's enough of that's enough graveyard grog for me. Why don't we go just a little ways east, a little bit closer into the loop, head on to Clark Street, and check out the Working Man's Exchange. This cool little section here of Clark. We'll speed up a little. Get past the Submarine Place, Harry Weese's jail building. And up here to this section of Clark, home of the Ewing Hotel that still has the Hotel Men Only sign up from the old days. And right here we've got it, this old building that once formed the Working Man's Exchange. The Working Men's Exchange was a place that was run by Hinky Dink Kenna, one of the first ward aldermen, who basically used this as a place to build up political power. If you wanted to hang out in this place, you better be voting for Hinky Dink. And this was a good place for working men to hang out. You didn't order a glass of beer, you ordered a schooner of beer, about the size of your head for something like a nickel. Some people thought that he must be losing his shirt on that, but he got such a good deal on the beer that he was, only paying about 1.50 cents for all of this beer, and then charging 5 cents for it. He was making an absolute fortune. And, he was also providing things like lunch. William Stead, who wrote If Christ Came to Chicago, said that people like Hinky Dink and the brothel owners were doing a lot more for Chicagoans than people like Pullman. The inside of it looks like this. They just got placed by the barrels. You can see right up there, McKenna's Working Men's Exchange. Also rooms to rent over there. Here's Hinky Dink himself. He was famously one of two first ward aldermen. There was the other being Bathhouse John Coughlin, his partner. Bathhouse John was kind of the face of the operation. Hinky Dink did more of the work behind the scenes. There's a very early photo of Bathhouse John, who got a lot larger after this. And often they would have some piano music in there, not piano, piano. And of course, if we're going to have some piano playing coming up in here, here's Mary Crowell, everybody, recreating, kind of for a modern version, the effect of the Working Men's Exchange.
Bad evening, I know. They roughed you up and then they brought you to me. Then now you tremble, I'm so gentle, you see, and oh, my love, I'm your vacation ain't free, but I can help you make it easy for me. And oh my lord, I'm your friend. Yes, you know. I know you saw them drag him away. When my friends asked you, you wouldn't say. Well, they were taking the priest that day, but you'll tell when I say the word. Oh, my lord, you've been a bad boy, you know. You think you're safe out there on the street, but down here, honey, you're just fresh meat. And oh, my lord, we're good friends, don't you know? Such a good man. Now tell me your fee. Oh yes, I'll pay you, I'm honest, you see. Now I think I'll say the word. Ooh, my love, it's not safe out there, don't you know? Here, have a sip of this drink from my fire. Why don't you go off to sleep for a while? And oh my lord, he's my friend, don't you know? Why don't you go off to sleep for a while? Why don't you go off to sleep for a while? Why don't you go off to sleep for a while? And oh my lord, I'm your friend. Yes, you know.
Dr. Mary Kroll, the Mad Doctor of Alabama. All right. Every time I see her play piano, I'm like looking at my fingers like, why can't you guys get together like that? All right. So here's a special message from Hinky Dink Kenna himself. We saw his partner, Bathhouse John's Mausoleum on the morning mini tour the other day, you know.
Good evening. My name is Alderman Michael Hinky Dink Kenna. Welcome to the Working Man's Exchange, the unofficial headquarters of the Democratic First District. Now, if you're looking to ply your trade, gambler, brothel, or gentleman muscle to our business establishment here in Lubbock, I'm afraid I need you to do something for me. I need you to buy this roll, tickets to our upcoming First Ward Ball. Why, that is the opportunity for our little neighborhood here to show off. We need all your hoodlums, madams, and painted ladies. Show off for the night. We need it to be a Lollapalooza. So come on, do the Hink this favor. And the First Ward will always be there for you. So have a drink, settle down, enjoy our district. Buy those tickets.
All right, buy those tickets to the First Ward Ball. You won't regret it. I feel like I could probably, there's 3 or 4 bars in my general vicinity where I feel like it's probably just about as wild. Probably all guys, though. But all right, so let's move on from the Working Men's Exchange before I say anything incriminating here. So here we are, traveling through time and space. This is old, I still got this in the deck. But all right. Here we are in the Loop here in Chicago. We're going to check out here at 35 East Wacker, the Jewelers Building, alias the Pure Oil Building, alias 35 East Wacker, just bought by a new person. Check out that dome up there at the top. This was designed by Fred Dinkelberg. Fred Dinkelberg himself was a Chicagoan. He worked originally for Daniel Burnham. He designed buildings for Burnham like the Flatiron Building in New York, but there's no mention of him on the plaques on the Flatiron Building. And even here at the Jewelers Building, one he designed when he was operating under his own banner, it still manages to mention Daniel Burnham on the plaques. But just recently, I gave a tour for a group that had their offices on this place right on the side of one of the balconies. So I managed to get some interesting footage from the balcony of the Jewelers Building. Here you can see Marina City in the Reed Murdoch Building from 1913, right there on the river. There's another view with the carbide and carbon. These domes in the middle were originally covering water towers, and that was moving its way over. Just on the other side, you can see the Virgin Hotel, the old Dearborn Bank building. Let's make this about as big as we can. And just check out these figures, these like Anubis-looking figures. Lizardmen, I guess they're what, they got wings? These guys, look at how intricate this is, and who gets to see it but the birds and the chimney sweeps. Absolutely fantastic. And here's a great view of all the things you can see from right in that corner. The Carbide and Carbon, the St. Regis Hotel, the Wrigley Building, Tribune Tower. Just everywhere you look, there's something great to see. Let's just take a look around here. But once we've taken our look here at places like the Wrigley Building and Tribune Tower, but this is not all the way up to the top of this building. Now, up at the top, of course, is a dome. Let me move down and show you a bit more of the dome. Now, also, you'll notice, like right next to my head here, you can see the initials FD. Up around the top dome, Fred Dinkelberg, the architect, put his initials all over the place. You can also see them, like, over there on the left. FD is all over this. Now, there's a lot of lore in Chicago about this dome. You might have seen in some of the pictures boats going by running architectural boat tours. There is at least a 50% chance that those boats were telling them that under the dome was a club called the Stratosphere Club, so-called because the drinks would send you to the stratosphere, also that it was way up in the stratosphere. And they will either say that Al Capone owned it or patronized it and threw parties there, depending on who's doing the tour. Now, the Stratosphere Club was a real place. Here is a matchbook from it. I brought it to show the people who were operating out of there. There is atmosphere in the stratosphere. Not a whole lot is really known about this place. We do know that it opened in 1937, so it would not have been a speakeasy, and Al Capone could never have set foot inside of the place. But it wasn't open very long. You had to take like 3 elevators to get up there, and then once you did, it was really expensive. So not a whole ton of people really made it all the way up. There are a couple of bits of data describing it as a very classy place. Music would be played by like one guy with a guitar playing classical music. Radio stars are said to have hung out there. No picture of it survives that I know. It is said to have had a circular bar and a hot air balloon theme. The pictures that we have of the dome are all from when it was offices operated by Helmut Jahn. But why don't we just pretend that's not a thing? And we will hop up here to the Stratosphere Club ourselves and see what kind of classy waiter is operating this place.
Ahoy there. Welcome up to the Stratosphere Club, the very top of Chicago.
Yeah.
You seem a little, underdressed. Are you sure you're in the right place?
I didn't see a tie and jacket were required.
We didn't think we had to say it. Well, just try not to disturb our patronage. We're not used to seeing your kind in here.
Hey.
We regularly host the cream of the crop here at the Stratosphere. WGN is right across the river, and we host some of the greatest stars of radio. Why, just last week, Jack Benny and Fanny Bryce both came in for drinks and dancing.
Oh, there's dancing here.
Well, Frank Barbino plays his harp and you can sort of sway in your seat. I don't expect your skills would go much further than that anyway.
Well, we got any good drinks?
New one we're trying. I call it the Fibber McGee and Molly. The Fibber McGee is equal parts gin and vodka with a splash of Lillet Blanc. Although, Perhaps a plain old dry vermouth is a little more in your budget, sport. The extra zest of lemon is a nice garnish to give it a little extra pop.
And what's with the Molly?
The Molly is a shot glass filled half with vodka, half with lemon juice. Pour it into your glass when you're almost done, so I don't have to keep spinning round and round this bar and coming back to you. Can't have a dizzy bartender. You'll spill all the booze.
We will.
Yes, I bet you're quite used to licking up drinks off the floor. Now just have a seat and I'll have it out to you in a jiff.
Damn, I hate that bartender. All right, what are you staring at anyway, ma'am? So Fibber McGee and Molly is, maybe that's about the kind of drink you would have got at this place. I realized when I was a kid, my grandmother, Grandma Bell, out there in the chat, had cats named Molly and McGee. I didn't find out until years later that originally there was a third cat named Fibber. Never made the connection. I knew them as Molly and McGee, not McGee and Molly. It just flowed a little bit better. Eventually, I might have learned what Fibber McGee and Molly was. I'm only vaguely aware of it now, to be honest. But all right, let's move on.
I'm so glad you made it.
Let's just check down Rush Street a little bit here. We'll hear from Patty in just a second. We are going down Rush Street to what is now Gibson's Steakhouse, or was as of about 5 years ago when I filmed this footage, but was previously the site of Mr. Kelly's, a steakhouse, supper club, and jazz place. Pretty much everybody played at Mr. Kelly's at one point or another. Everybody who was anybody in jazz, cabaret singing. People like Barbra Streisand, people like Duke Ellington played here. All of the big comedy names of the day. This is a bit of the inside. There were tables both circular and round, for circular and square. But also off to the side were just the bleachers, where people could just sit and watch, and all you had to do was buy a drink at some point. So if you wanted to just go see Duke Ellington for the price of a $3 drink, you could do that occasionally. Well, Duke, of course, would play at like the Chicago Theater, Ravinia, Mr. Kelly's, and the Old Orchard Mall all in the same week. Greco and Willard here. But a lot of jazz albums were recorded at this place. There is Sarah Vaughan and her trio at Mr. Kelly's. There's Anita O'Day at Mr. Kelly's. Ella Fitzgerald live at Mr. Kelly's. And in particular, Muddy Waters live at Mr. Kelly's was known as a particularly good night. If you poke around online, you can find reminiscences of the guy who drove him there that night. But there's not places not without its scandal. It was a very cool place, but like a lot of places in Chicago, unescorted women were expected not to sit at the bar. They could come in, they could go to tables, they could probably go to the bleachers, but the bar, they figured that any woman who was going to a bar unescorted must be a sex worker. That's not the term they would have used at the time. This is one of those things that you hear about, that you read on the internet, and it sometimes turns out it's just an internet thing, but this was kind of the rule. And the weird thing in Chicago is at the turn of the 20th century, there were lots of women bartenders. By 1970, there were practically none for a while there. But here, telling us about that at a time that there was actually a protest against it, very low key. But here's Patty Vasquez, everybody, traveling back in time to Mr. Kelly's.
I am so glad you made it, because people have been eyeing your chair. These seats are amazing. I can't believe we are feet away from where Bette Midler, Barbra Streisand, Sarah Vaughan all perform right there. I am so excited to be here. You know, I used to want to be a singer, so I could be on that stage. And then when I saw Phyllis Diller, I thought, you know what? Maybe I can perform this podcast. So, I've been too embarrassed to tell you that I want to do stand-up comedy. I know, it sounds crazy. But I don't just want to tell jokes. I want to say things that really connect with people. Plus, remember last year when Lily Tomlin was here and she led that protest with, like, what was it, like 24 women to fight for our right to be able to sit at the bar? Yep, that was because they said that a woman alone at the bar might be a working girl. Like there's something wrong with that. So that's what I want to do. You know, I want to be able to make a difference, change the world. Anyway, I got you a martini, just the way you like it.
Really dry?
Man. That's good. It's like a hug from Grandma. If she was made of lemons and vodka, it's gonna be a good night.
Martin jokes about Sabrina Carpenter at Mr. Kelly's. I would love to see Sabrina Carpenter at Mr. Kelly's. That would be a fantastic show. Though I will point out while I'm drinking, she's got a recent song, "If You Want My Love, My Clothes Are Off, I'm Coming Over to Your Place." Now, Sabrina, get to the gentleman's place and then take off your clothes. You're going to get a UTI in the Uber. But yeah, this was the no women at the bar unescorted was not strictly a Mr. Kelly's thing by any means. Since the 1950s, that had really been affecting all the taverns in the area. But by 1970, a lot of people were starting to say that this was ridiculous. There were whole articles about where unescorted women may dine out comfortably. And in 1973, Lily Tomlin, still very new on the scene at the time, really, I believe. This was before SNL. This was before she was in Nashville, before she got Oscar. I believe she won an Oscar for that one, or was nominated. Should have been, if she wasn't. So, led about 30 people to just go sit at the bar, and there was no particular fuss at the time. But all right, let's move up. While we're on Rush Street, right where State and Rush came together was a place called Maury's Beatnik Bookstore, which at various times was attached to the College of Complexes. Now, this was an intellectual bar. A friend who would try to get in there when he was younger in the 50s said it was probably the only place in Chicago where minors could not get a drink. By some accounts, they had a sign outside saying minors admitted if accompanied by their grandchildren. And it wasn't like they were more following the rules than anywhere else. They just thought minors might spoil the tone of the place. This was an intellectual bar. Here you can see Slim Brundage and William Lloyd Smith. Bill Smith were running. Bill Smith was nominated for president on the Beatnik ticket, which had a platform like no war because all beatniks are cowards. It was not something entirely serious. Bill Smith really ran on the platform of don't vote at all because this is all because I'm an anarchist. To vote for Bill Smith is no vote at all. He was running mate Joffrey Stewart I met at the Bughouse Square debates a few years back. He told me that they didn't like Slim Brundage. The big nominating convention was in New York. He bought everybody a bus ticket to New York, but not a bus ticket back. He had fully expected to be the nominee himself. But here's a copy of the College of Complexes. Was a place where you'd go to see a lecture, to see a debate, to see intellectual entertainment. Like here, the month of February in this particular year, I'm not sure what year this was from, probably early 60s. Illinois liquor laws. What's wrong with them? Another demonstration of hypnotism. And a commencement exercise for graduates of the College of Complexes. And of course, really, this was just a successor, like including a bar, to a more famous place across from Bughouse Square, where people would go to make speeches on soapboxes, is an alley that still shows up on maps under the name Tooker Place. He took her up to Tooker Alley to see our shows. Inside of Tooker Alley, and we're making our way into there now, was the Dill Pickle Club. This is how the alley looked back in the old days before they cleaned this area up. And in the middle was this hole in the wall where you would enter to go into the Dill Pickle Club, which was a place where they would also have lectures and things, lectures, debates, poetry readings, speeches by anybody who was a nut about something. People like Captain Streeter gave speeches here. They also hosted plays. Here is a picture from one of the plays. On the far right, that is Lillian Colley, the teenage flapper who ran the Wind Blew Inn and coined the term, and was popularized at least, the term snuggle pupping. She is flirting outrageously in character here with Max Bodenheim, who was a great writer of the era who almost nobody really reads anymore. His books are very difficult to find for the most part, but there are some interesting ones. One of them that you can't get for less than $100 is called Naked on Roller Skates. It's about a woman who agrees to be a guy's lover for the course of 1 year, during which he's supposed to take her on adventures. Now, this is one of the more risque versions of the cover. You can also see, like this one. She doesn't look like she's naked on roller skates. But there were a few of these, but all kinds of entertainment at the Dill Pickle. Their archives are now held by the Newberry Research Library. So I've been through there. I see they've had, like in 1 week in October 18th, they had Mae West and her ensemble from the play Sex. Further aspects on the most striking literary figure of our time, Harry P. Moore Jr. We got to look him up. Also lectures about Ben Reitman, a great birth control doctor who shows up on some of these, ran a hobo college of his own. And Victor Lindlar, MD, was going to be talking about the physiology and significance of flappers and cake eaters. Kick Eaters being sort of a male version of Flapper. Now here joining us, we have got old country version of Patty.
Hello, everyone. Thank you for your time. I am here today to address an important issue. You see, I work in the sporting girl profession. We work hard, day in and day out, and we take all precautions available to us to avoid becoming, how would you say, in a family way. An unfortunate reality of our profession is that these things do happen, and with the busy business we do, how could we even know what gentleman caller may be responsible for putting us in this condition? My fellow courtesans and I often find ourselves with no choice but to take several unpaid months off and then put the child in the care of some anti-white slavery league preacher woman. The whole situation is a hindrance and awfully inconvenient financially. And believe it or not, we do feel so awful. Granted, it's sort of nice to put your screaming infant into the hands of those gullible do-gooders to take care of, but the truth is, I would love to raise one of the little scamps on my own and teach them some of the more bohemian, modern principles of people like us, rather than having them misguided from the unkind touch of organized religion. So with this in mind, my fellow women and I propose a novel solution. Simply let us put our children to work once more. It's only fair they should earn their keep, given the time we girls must take off from our noble profession to birth them. I mean, I started working at a textile mill when I was just a wee babe of 10 years old, and look at how well I turned out. It's honestly unfortunate our state has effectively banned the practice of children being put to work.
Yeah.
With their tiny hands and unbridled energy, the little ones make a fine addition to a factory floor. Plus, school is a waste of their time. The schools only teach in English, and they're far too full for the children to even sit down. Frankly, they can learn just as much working for a living and contribute to the welfare of their families while they're at it. Reading and writing is only an important skill in the minority of professions. So join us in our fight. Revoke these shameful 1903 laws that tell us what to do with our children. Put the children back to work. Put the children back to work.
That seemed a lot more like satire back when this was first recorded. This was several years before Project 2025 came out. But let's go time traveling a little bit. We're going to go a little over tonight, but that's all right. Hey, we're at the London House. I didn't mean this guy to be here, but all right. So right by the Jewelers Building, just a couple of buildings over, is the London Guarantee Building by Alfred Alschuler, architect pictured right here. Let's take a look all the way up there. Alschuler's father, Samuel, was a photographer, took this first photograph of Abraham Lincoln with a beard. But this was owned in the 1970s by the same people who owned Mr. Kelly's. And you can see how the look of it. There used to be it's now called the London House Hotel after the jazz club that was in the building back then. You can see Barbara Carroll is being there tonight. By all accounts, the sound in the place was not great, though it didn't stop people from making records in there. You can see here is a copy of the menu. You can see the cocktails are in the range of 60 cents. Dry martini, Cuban Alexander, a whiskey sour. Manhattan, like I'm drinking tonight, 60 cents. Plus steaks were running about $4.50 at the time. Really, if a steak is about 8 times the price of a cocktail, that doesn't seem like the right ratio anymore. See the London House sirloin, extra thick, aged. Anchovy salad bowl, rolls in butter, $4.50. Or you could go for the sirloin steak special. A pound of thick sirloin steak for $3. $3 filet mignon. Well, and the cocktail, still the London Fog, their specialty, 60 cents. Well, this place seems like I could have kind of afforded. So let's see who the bartender is here.
Well, hello.
You, how'd you get here?
I took the balloon. How else? When you have two jobs, it's important to have transportation.
You could just walk.
Maybe your type is willing to walk. This place does seem more your style. Even you must have 60 cents for a London fog.
Sure, what's a London fog?
2 ounces of dry gin, half an ounce of Pernod. Even the likes of you can appreciate it. Ta.
Stratosphere Club guy. They also had some tempting desserts like raisin rice pudding, old-fashioned strawberry shortcake with whipped cream, London House Surprise, 40 cents. I'm going to have to go with the surprise. You always go with the surprise. Number of people recorded live here, such as Earl Father Hines, live at the London House. Or Big Noise from Winnetka, Gene Krupa, live at the London House. But let's move away from jazz just a little bit here. And make our way to Old Town. Another long-lost place, right past one of the Walgreens from the Tylenol scare. We've got Corcoran's Bar and Grill, which used to be the Earl of Old Town Folk Club. You can still see kind of the bones of the place on the inside. I opened the door, there was just nobody there when I was filming. Here's how it looks as of 2020. They still got this sign up for when Steve Goodman, John Prine, and Jim Post, best known for his terrible album cover today. But here's how it looked on the outside of the town, the Earl of Old Town. You can still see that Walgreens clearly right next door. There wasn't a Walgreens then. You can see Jim Post, Bonnie Kellogg, John Prine, Steve Goodman. There's the bartender. There's a large shot of it again. And up towards the back is where the stage would have been. Back over here. Now, we've got Ross Berman to do a song here, but first, I'm going to do one myself, I think. I just got a new guitar. I ought to do this. So let me move this over. Gonna tell you, and Mandy's about to have a baby shower, so I thought I'd do a song about a folk song, like they would have at the Earl of Old Town, about babies. Ross will be on after this to show me up. The song about babies is called Straight Outta Daycare. Straight out of daycare. My baby brother's only 1.5, but he's one tough fighter, true, you better not laugh. Yeah, all day long he's getting hugged and kissed by people who've forgotten that I even exist. But they only say he's such a sweet little thing, 'cause they haven't seen him in a baby fighting ring. Gonna start one in the basement, come tomorrow night. You can place your bets as the babies fight. My brother's gonna beat up every baby everywhere. He's one tough cookie, coming straight out of daycare. You don't want to mess now, 'cause he's the master. Got a rattle full of rage, a diaper full of disaster. Peekaboo-boo, baby's fighting and lean. Mom and dad would never guess that he's so mean, but I won't think he's so sweet. They watch him beat up every other baby on the street. I know that he's tough because he bit me last night. He only got a few teeth, but he sure can bite. Yeah, he'll be the other baby's worst nightmare. He's already mine, coming straight out of daycare. Share my toys or make me mommy. What do I look like to you, some kind of commie? You say you these love me just as much as him, but do you really think that I'm that dim? Oh no, I'm smart, gonna make the kids pay me. Watching him knock babies out the box daily, weekly, yeah, monthly and yearly. If grandma sees him fight, then she's gonna say, dear me, I thought that he was sweet, but I was wrong there. He's a punk with a teething grill, coming straight out of daycare. Straight out of daycare. Straight out of daycare. All right, here's Ross Berman, everybody.
I didn't want to be a fascist. I want to make it on my own. I didn't want to be a fascist. I just didn't want to be full grown. I just wanted the trains to run on time and for everything to go my way. But I'll be judged like a fascist on my judgment day. I didn't want to be an asshole. I wanted to speak my mind. I didn't want to be an asshole. But research takes so much time. I just wanted to speak my truth until there was nothing left to say. But I'll be judged like an asshole on my judgment day. I didn't want to be a bastard. I had to make it for myself. I didn't want to be a bastard. I couldn't count on anyone else. I want to start at the bottom and reach the top. And at the top I'll stay. But I'll be judged like a bastard on my judgment day. I didn't want to be an Isaac. I wanted to be Ishmael. I didn't want to be an Isaac. The son you could have killed. And now my blessings, they'll be stolen when I blindly give them away. And I'll be judged like Isaac on my judgment day. I didn't want to be a white guy. I'm not looking to my past. I didn't want to be a white guy. But struggle seemed so low class. I've been killing the poor for centuries to wash the past away. But I'll be judged like a white guy on my judgment day. Well, nya 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 nya. Nya 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 nya. Nya 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 nya. I'll be judged like a fascist, judged like an asshole, judged like a bastard, judged like Isaac, judged like a white guy on my judgment day. I'll be judged like a white guy, which means I'm gonna get away.
Ross W. Berman, everybody. I feel like just keeping on going tonight. Hope you all don't mind. We're at about the end of it, but I thought I would close. I'll do another song. I wrote this about 20 years ago, but it sounds pretty good on this new guitar. January's coming to this transient hotel where I've been sleeping too many nights. Strike our matches against the moon of old Chicago. Look to see how hard it's snowing in the light. And I forget to light the candles as I do most Friday evenings. Emily comes and lights them for me. She says that I'd be lost if I didn't have her next door to the room where I sleep. But I have never been lost. I have never been lost. I have never been lost. I've just taken the long way home. 2 doors down, Levy looks about 90, and he says that he's older than that. He said he fought with Jack Johnson sometime in the early 20s and was knocked out in 2 seconds flat. He's been at this hotel now since his wife passed away, roughly 2 decades ago. He says he can't leave 'cause when the light is just right, he can sometimes see your face in the snow. He's never been lost. He has never been lost. just taking the long way home. The bar at the hotel has wood-paneled walls. We sit in line from soprano to baritone. Emily's an outlaw, alto. She drinks her vodka tonic while Levy pumps coins into the phone. When they start up the countdown on TV, we'll be ready to sing Auld Lang Syne. And at the risk of sounding slightly greedy, asking God to bless us all, please, one more time. I have never been lost, and we have never been lost. We have never been lost, just taking the long way home. Just taking the long way home. We don't have to take the long way home because we're just going to take the Fool Killer all the way back to the closing, everybody, which means it is time for me to plug. On Sunday, we will be doing a walking tour of Graceland Cemetery. Tickets on sale now, MysteriousChicago.com. Tickets still to go around. If you're on the Patreon, you can get on the ticket tier and get pretty much unlimited tickets to the walking tours. It's sort of a season pass. Patreon's coming out. I'll be happy to see everybody. So thanks a lot for joining me, everybody. I'm Adam from Mysterious Chicago Tours. At this point, we will just hang out like we always do. So thanks a lot for joining me. Here's Benny Goodwin live from the Congress Hotel in downtown Chicago.
Benny Goodman is being presented from the Joseph Urban Room of the Congress Hotel in downtown Chicago. And now Benny Goodman's arrangement of The Bugle Call Rang.
All right, thanks everybody. And the Mysteriocon tickets are up as well for the last weekend in September. It's time for Mysteriocon. I think it's going to be kind of low-key this year. But we're after hours hanging now. Thanks, everybody. Yeah, I got myself this guitar for my birthday. Miles is over in his chair swing. He loves this thing. He was scared of it at first. He tried to jump on it and it moves. Yes, Heather, Naked on Roller Skates, you cannot find a copy for less than like $100. Max Bodenheim books in general are kind of in that space where they're not quite public domain, but also not in print. Now, his book about his time in Greenwich Village you can get on Kindle for about $4, so there's that. It's not on archive.org either, I checked. Yeah, Heather, you can find a $1,500 copy. It's the cheapest I saw was about $100. Thanks, everybody. We'll just kind of hang out. Thanks, Chris. Good night, Heather. Miles usually just kind of sits in the chair. He doesn't swing around in it, but that's his throne. Shame I can't decorate that air conditioner. It's just sitting there, you know. Hey, those of you kicking in donations on PayPal, Venmo.
That was the bugle call rag. Benny
Thanks,
Goodman's
Paulo.
own arrangement. Now, the popular tune, Thanks a
I went
Million.
through a list of my songs, figure out what I should play tonight. I felt like playing something. Got a couple of new ones I'm working on that I'm pretty proud of. Oh, thanks, Bill. I rotated between a couple of kinds of curtains in here, trying to figure this place out. Last week, I believe we still had the faux bricks up on that particular wall. I decided to go back to the same color as the other wall there. But it keeps my mind off all of the other crap that comes with this stuff. I'll see you all tomorrow. We do have Find a Grave Friday tomorrow. That's the thing. When is Miles gonna get a kitten? Not for at least a couple weeks, and then we'll see. We'll see. He's doing pretty well these days. I don't know how kitten-proof I've got this place. Lots of places for a cat to jump, though. And Susan, I'm thinking about getting back into playing some songs out here and there. I've got maybe an EP's worth of new songs. And one of them I just realized I should have all of these verses just be choruses. And then have verses in the middle that are just like rants. We'll see. Like rant rock. I'm Patti Smith, Hold Steady, rant rock. That's all. Thank you, Bill. I don't know, Miles has been adjusting pretty well in here. He still does some howling. Last night he knocked his shelf down in the bedroom. That's not great. Kathy, my teeth are alright. I had to take an ibuprofen today, post root canal. I'm kind of working my way through all of that stuff. While I still can. Definitely something going on with these backgrounds. I'm always getting food caught between them. Trucking. I'm pretty sure that Patty clip not been seen in a while. Patty and I got a big project coming up. I'll say no more. There will be a little bit more on the Patreon soon. Tour about St. Alphonsus. Where's that? Thanks to those of you who sent in donations tonight. I mean, the donations are never like they were in 2020 when people didn't have anything else to do. But I don't expect them to be. They're back to being what they're supposed to, what they were always intended for, as promo for the walking tours. Now, St. Alphonsus and pancake breakfast are two phrases that go together really well.
On the Alamo.
Burlington and Greenview, okay. I say, Spooky John. Spent today doing quite a bit on the Gold Dust murders. I realized at Graceland Cemetery, in the blocks back behind the Eternal Silence statue, is the grave of George Driver, possibly the only judicially hanged person who was at Graceland. And he murdered his wife, but claimed that he couldn't exactly confess to it because he didn't remember doing it because he was drunk at the time. That was his defense. He was too drunk to remember it. Didn't work. He was hanged. But 7 years later, Ava Lloyd, alias like 9 different names, killed Dora Abel, alias like 4 different names, including Little Gold Dust. They were both sex workers, lived in a boarding house on State Street near where it is now Balbo. People heard screaming and fighting between them in the middle of the night. Ava disappeared the next day. Nobody saw Dora for a while until the landlady tried to rent Ava's old room out and found the body in the closet. And Ava said that she probably had killed Dora, but she was too drunk and couldn't remember. She ended up being acquitted. Unlike George Driver, and Dora is buried right near George Driver. After being acquitted, Ava was given $50 to restart her life by the lawyer E.C. Larned, who was in Volume 1 of the Graceland book, one of our biggest abolitionists. But she was in and out of trouble the last 4 years of her life. Katie, I know, right? I want pancakes so badly right now. Do I have them? No. No, I do not. A tour based on the Dresden Files. That'd be kind of difficult because the geography in the Dresden Files tends not to be great. That is correct.
Eeny, meeny, miny, mo, and we stay right in the urban room of the Congress Hotel in Chicago.
What I'm doing right now anyway. I gotta be up very early in the morning and I'll be out late tomorrow night.
Eeny, meeny, miny, mo.
Can't quite do the Charleston, but last night I saw people doing the Charleston to Renegade by Styx, and damned if it didn't work. I was amazed. Partly I was amazed that so many people in that bar knew Renegade by Styx when it came on. And partly because the people who came and started doing the Charleston to it, it worked! It worked. Brilliant. That's right, the gig is dropped, they used to laugh, they finally found me. The renegade who had it made. KGGO Des Moines used to play this song to bits. I was surprised all the young people in the bar I was in last night knew it. But it was a whole big sing-along. Whereas the guy who did Yoda for karaoke was not that big of a sing-along. I was amazed. Of course, Bohemian Rhapsody. Or What's Going On. The damn thing never fails. Like any song, Take Me Back Again. In the Tom Paxton tune. JC was a friend. Luann, I might have missed something here, or I'm drinking too much. I'm hanging on, still trawling for donations. Getting ready for Find a Grave Friday tomorrow. I don't know where I'm going yet. Where am I going? I don't know.
And we'll let the title speak for itself. Benny Goodman presenting Madhouse.
Ah, guitars from Styx. That JC, all right. Hangman is coming down from the gallows, and I don't have very long. Across from the old Rainbow Roller Rink, that is St. Boniface, Bill. We've covered the old Rainbow Roller Rink on the Shooting Showgirls tour. St. Boniface comes up now and then. Paul Dresser is buried there, the songwriter. Really interesting guy. Party Machine. Credited by the Chicago Defender with writing the first blues song ever written. The song, My Curse Will Follow Thee. Which, it's kind of like saying Heartbreak Hotel is the first emo song, but still, this is the Chicago Defender, a black newspaper, saying this was the first blues song like 10 years before any other articles about the first blues song came out. I saw one response to people calling that the first blues song. It was like, the guy just aghast. Paul Dresser didn't sell his soul at the Crossroads. Robert Johnson did. Like, first of all, Robert Johnson did not. And second of all, if Paul Dresser didn't sell his soul at the Crossroads, it's only because nobody told him he could. Had he known that was an option, he would have been first in line, that guy. Yeah, no, but I'm not surprised. Now I want to mash up Renegade with the Charleston really fast. Or maybe somebody already has. John played a Rockola jukebox at Stanley's, 35th and Ashland. We covered the Rockola Company a while ago. On the Patreon, down below. Miles is still in the egg chair back over there. All curled up. Benny's only got a couple of minutes left. We'll just wait this out, I guess. Tomorrow we got Find a Grave Friday at 10 o'clock. Central Time. The correct Central Time. I can say it's the correct Central Time because this is the time zone they were in when they divided the world into time zones. The General Time Convention of 1883.
And here's a short encore portion of Benny Goodman's forthright invitation at the beginning of
There's
this
Benny
program.
Goodman wrapping it up. It means it's time for me to wrap it up too by mentioning this weekend at Graceland Cemetery, Chicago's stories, symbols, and secrets. That is coming up this Sunday, 11 a.m. This weekend I got to do a private tour for Oakwood Cemetery. See how that goes. They're still kind of on my list. If somebody wants to pay me to take them there, that's a good tour.
We have been presenting the music of Benny Goodman and his orchestra from the Joseph Urban Room of the Congress Hotel on Michigan Avenue in Chicago.
That's Benny Goodman, everybody. I'm Adam from Mysterious Chicago Tours. Thanks for joining me for this time travel pub crawl. One of our longer ones tonight. I'm Adam from Mysterious Chicago, telling you all to stay safe, stay